Welcome to Whiskey Ace. This week a little bit different, and you've probably noticed I haven't had a video for probably 6 to 8 weeks. That's actually because I've been in Scotland in April. We had a wonderful day of 22 degrees followed by 2. And I just happened to be in a very remote part of the Highlands of Scotland, somewhere near Perth. I can't quite remember. I'm still excited about actually being in the middle of this field, because there we were looking at what used to be Auchenagie. And Auchenagie is a distillery that stopped production in 1911. I'll always remember that year because that's the last time my football team won the FA Cup. And what we saw there was a brook, a little bit of water coming down, a sluice gate to collect the water, and a few stones here and there. Actually a farmhouse where the distillery used to be. But why I'm telling you all this is because there's a great cutting-edge new expression of whiskey now being made available by Lost Distillery Company. Go on to Google and have a look at Lost Distillery. I'm not going to spend a long time talking about it. The experts can. From my point of view, I want to talk to you about how great the whiskey is tasting. So just to give you a little bit of a very brief summary of Lost Distillery, and what they're doing is they're buying up the rights to distilleries that don't exist anymore. Companies don't exist, but all of their paperwork does, number one. So if you were to, what they are is they've become really historians. And they will look back over 100, 200 years, the history of the distillery. They'll find the water source, what minerals is in the water, is there any peat gets into the water, the shape of the stills, the people that were behind it, which is really the most important thing in a single malt scotch anyway. But finally they'll obviously need to know what casks it was matured in. Not that back in 1895 they matured whiskey for very long, but in the case of Auchenagie, and there will be some more whiskies I'll be featuring from this company, they found out quite a lot. And I could see actually, once I read the history, I could see what went wrong with the distillery. It was bought by Dewar's. Dewar's is a very famous company. Back in 1911, they would be the crown of whiskey, especially in London, where people had money to buy great single malts, and Dewar's had a fantastic portfolio. Auchenagie took off, and so production increased. When production increases, you need more water. And looking at that brook today, I could imagine how it just couldn't keep up with production. So, it was closed in 1911, 1912. But what they've done today is they've been able to find, through all the paperwork, through the archives, they've been able to find, okay, so they used Barsac, Sauternes, French dessert wine casks, but also they found ads asking if anybody had fine sherry casks, and then look in the purchase logbook 6 months later and they bought some. So these guys are for real. I mean, they have everything they need to try to offer you today a 2014 expression of a distillery that closed in 1911, but what if it had kept going, and what would have happened? So, you're taking into account the shape of the stills, all sorts of different stuff. It's great. On this video on Whiskey Ace channel, I prefer to just, let's talk about the whiskey. There it is. There's a little sample of Auchenagie. And as I said, they use Barsac casks. So I'm ahead of the game because I had a wee nip in Scotland on the day of +2. And I was astonished that I smelled this wonderful sweet fruit, which is really peaches, but there's sweet pears, apricots. You could conjure up all sorts of different fruits in that category, but it's really probably peaches, and that's from the Barsac most people know Sauternes more than they do Barsac. In my day, my dad occasionally would buy a Barsac. It was a bit cheaper than a Sauternes, I think. But they're both very famous regions. And then obviously they moved on to sherry. Not sure if this one has had sherry too. It probably has. Let's taste. Chew, chew, chew. So you get all of your palate. Yeah, there's a little bit of spice there. Sweetness is staying. A little bit of spice. Caramel, toffee. Don't forget, the caramel is for real. It's not artificial flavoring caramel. Didn't do that back then. Same as they didn't chill filter. And so obviously Lost Distillery, there's no artificial flavoring. And there's obviously, it's non-chill filtered. So that just gives you a little idea. And if you can find some, Europe I think has Auchenagie, no problem. Maybe parts of the USA. I'm excited because it's coming to our Fredericton, New Brunswick Whisky Show this year, and we will have someone from Lost Distillery. Hopefully it'll be Andy, and we'll have master classes, and we'll really go into this fantastic concept with 3 whiskies. Okay, from Whiskey Ace, see you soon, bye.